Hello there. We are back
We
for
are
another.
back.
We're back for another album review of Lynyrd Skynyrd's "One More from the Road." And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you a little gem I came across. And the only reason I pushed the review on this one is because I got this. Bizarrely, I just went into a record store and the guy offered it to me, but it's an original press of the famous live album by Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's an absolute gem. Um, yeah, Luca, I love this one. I really do. It's cool.
I
Um,
have to give you your flowers and a lot of compliments for pushing it on me to listen to it.
yeah,
Definitely not an album I would have picked. I know that
yeah,
you had said during the week throughout our conversations that this has definitely entered into your top list of live albums now. And
oh,
I
100.
can totally understand why I put it on the other evening, as I said to you, when I was clearing out the music studio or doing some rearrangement. The old
Yes,
spring cleaning is upon us, ladies and gentlemen.
yes.
Stack those boxes, give away some stuff that you don't need, get to the recycling centre and throw a lot of stuff into the charity shop or done deal or adverts. There's a lot of stuff you don't need and make room for new records and new That Sound podcast merch in that wardrobe.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a great album. It's really good. I'll read out some of the notes on the album. So, One More from the Road is a live album by the Southern rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd, capturing three shows recorded in July 1976 at the Fox Theatre in Atlanta, Georgia. Since 1974, Lynyrd Skynyrd had supported rock promoter Alex Cooley so that the theatre could be saved from demolition. Yeah, like they done this show to really promote it and get some money to keep it. And it's still going today, as far as I know. This record was the band's first live album and the only live album released during the band's classic era of 1970 to 1977, prior to the plane crash that killed lead singer and songwriter Ronnie Van Zant, guitarist Steve Gaines, and backing singer Cassie Gaines. The album was released in September 1976. It was certified gold by the RIAA on October 26th, 1976, platinum on December 30th, 1976, and three times platinum on July 21st, 1987.
My God.
Uh, yes, it sold an awful lot. Um, the tracks on the album, I'll just go through them, Luke. There was a couple of different versions of this too. There was a deluxe version as well, but I believe this is an original press one I got my hands on. But it is so it starts off. I'll just read all them out first, and we can have a chat about some of the songs. So, working for MCA, I ain't the one, searching, Tuesday's gone, Saturday night special, traveling man, whiskey rock a roller, sweet home Alabama, gimme three steps, call me the breeze, T for Texas, the needle and the spoon, crossroads, and last but not least, freeboard. And as we said, the lineup on this one is Ronnie Van Zant, Alan Collins on guitar, Gary Rosenthal guitar, Billy Powell keyboard, Leon Wilkinson bass, Artemis Pyle, Artemis Pyle on the drums, and Steve Gaines, who I believe this was his first uh, time playing with the band was at this live recording
No
for
way.
the yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, he passed away in the plane crash as well. But yeah, so what from listening to it, Luke, what songs kind of stood out for you?
The intro I thought was brilliant when they're being announced and then they
Yes.
go rocking into it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed the vibe that it kept going
Yeah.
the whole way through. Whiskey Rock and Roller, as one I wouldn't have been familiar with, I absolutely loved. I
Yeah.
really, really enjoyed Needle in the Spoon. It is class. So much so that I'm going to have to go and listen to that. That just makes me want to go get a couple of beers,
Yeah,
box of Marlboro Golds, light up the Marshall and a Les Paul and let it rip.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, it was the first album with Steve Gaines. He joined the band. Especially standout moments for him. A lot of people, a lot of diehard Lynyrd Skynyrd fans will say that Steve Gaines was the best guitarist, even though he was only there for a short while. Um, Especially on Tifa, Texas, and Freeboard. The version of Freeboard on this live has an extended solo. I think it goes on for 14 minutes. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, Gary, I think it's an SG he plays, Gary Rosenthal. I remember I was on to you about the whistles.
Yes.
It's actually not whistles. He's actually doing something on the SG. He's kind of
Volume swells.
it's not volume swells. It's
Or
almost
is
like
he
he's
playing slide?
he's kind of sliding it, and it sounds like a whistle. But as I was saying to you, like it was almost like a click, like to get everyone in line. It's so cool, and like during this album, as you said on the opening track, playing for MCA. MCA is the record company, like, and it's the lyrics in that is brilliant. It's about like how they played in every. If you read the lyrics, they played in every venue from. They were actually a lot of them from Florida. I thought they were like I don't know why I thought they were like
They were
Texas or
all
somewhere.
Southern.
They were all Southern, but Ronnie was Florida, and I believe Steve Gaines was Oklahoma. I think the bass player might have been Rhode Island, but they were all most of them was down south. But just the lyrics is so good, and they kind of giving a jab to the record company, but also thanking them at the same time. You know how much they were signed for now in the 70s? $9,000. Yeah, yeah, like I'm sure they brought in a lot more than
I
$9,000.
could imagine. I could imagine.
You know,
Like with that many of them in the band as well.
three guitarists, bass, like the keyboard player. Oh my Jesus, that song called "For the Breeze." Look,
Yes.
um, the Billy Powell, Mother of God. Like one thing I have to say about this podcast, like it's got me into a lot of different music and doing reviews, and I love it. Like, but the 70s stuff, and look, I'd say I'm kind of jumping from things here, but like the overall recording of this album, look, is unbelievable.
Yeah, the sounds are amazing.
They're so good. They
As
really
you
are.
had said, the drum sound in particular, you've really enjoyed.
Yeah, I thought the drum sound was very good for a live album in the 70s. You know, it was recorded over 3 nights. I'm sure they picked, certain sections from here and there, but still, funny thing, there's absolutely no footage of this.
None.
No, no video footage at all.
None
Supposedly,
whatsoever.
no, supposedly the lead singer was very nervous about it because this was their big showcase.
Okay.
Um, we're on the road a while now at this stage, but I think they might have been, I think when they were signed, they might have been only going maybe 2 years. They were playing together from school. They started off, they had a different name when they were younger, actually, and then they changed to Lynyrd Skynyrd. But I think they were only signed a couple of years, and then this was their first live one. But I was actually looking on YouTube during the week, and there's some live footage from Asbury Park and I believe Nebworth,
Is Asbury Park New
Jersey.
Jersey where Springsteen was from?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Some some great footage. Like it's them on a stage and the crowd is massive. And it's all
Must check
women.
it out.
It's all women.
Maybe that's
It's like
where the old cliche of, if you play in a rock band, you'll get all the girls came from.
all the girls were there, and believe me, there wasn't much clothes on them.
Maybe that's why Motley Crue wrote "Girls, Girls, Girls."
Oh, yeah, it was so good though. What other like going through them? I ain't the one as well. Like this just starts off so good. You know where you might see some bands like they kept Freeboard in the back pocket to finish with, but like I ain't the one, and Searching could be used as an encore. They're that good.
They're that good. Yeah.
I I think anyway. Tuesday is gone. We both know that one as well. Metallica
Love that
covered it.
one. Love that. And one thing that struck me about Tuesday's Gone, I forgot how good the keys solo is.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And I
Like
could
it's
remember all the parts. Like I could sing them as they were
no
coming
way.
up. I'd listened to it that much off the Garage Inc. record.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a good song. Even Searching. I love that one too. It talk about just a wall of sound as well. Like especially watching the footage that I seen in Asbury Park, especially jumping down to freeboard now again. But to see the three boys, I think Steve Gaines is doing the main bit, but like Gary's coming in with the slide. And funny enough, you know what he used as a slide?
Deodorant
Same as
bottle,
Rory.
or
An old aspirin button, same as Rory
yeah,
Gallagher, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Once they
This would have
found
been
what worked for them and they were
whatever
comfortable with it.
in the middle finger. He used it on the middle finger, and I suppose it would have been around the same time, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been far off, would it? 1976. Like if you think
Yeah,
Rory's live album was 74.
yeah. And Alan Collins, he used a lovely Explorer guitar.
Yeah, he had a class, one of those old 58 Carina
Yeah, yeah,
Explorers. Gorgeous.
yeah.
Very, very rare, very hard to come by now. Sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow, wow. And then the SG, Gary's SG looked very similar to Angus's.
Probably an
A
old
red-
64 or something. And
cherry
not
red one.
not to get off topic, but it's funny that those guitars are so sought after now. Were just 10 and 12 and 14 years old back in the day, or they were 20 years old.
Yeah,
And
and there's still massive demand for them.
there's massive demand for them now because they talk about the wood selection being different and the pickups. A lot of
Yeah.
electronics that were used back then might be different now than they were. And
Mm,
they talk about them having something special when they were hand wound and all of that sort of thing. But if you think of it, Gavin, those guitars were once new, like
yeah.
60, 70 years ago. That was a new instrument made like it is today. And then it
Imagine
just
that.
so happened to be, 10, 20 years old. And some guys thought nothing of them. Some thought they were too expensive. Some just played them and beat
Yeah.
them and didn't like them.
Like you think of even like say Greenie, like the hands that went through that. And I'm not sure where Gary's guitars went. I know when the plane crash happened with Lynyrd Skynyrd, Ronnie's younger brother took over from singing, and I believe there was other members, relations, and brothers and stuff. Now, I think amps and stuff were passed on, but I'm not sure about physical guitars. But yeah, it's some sound. But like when
That's a
you think
great
of like
question.
you
I
just said, the
don't know
history.
where Gary Rossington's Les Paul went. I do know Ed King,
Mm,
who played in Skynyrd later on down the line.
yes.
His famous burst or 59 Les Paul was known as Red Eye because it had
Okay.
a certain bit of red that never faded, even with the sun or after all of those years. And it was bought by country artist Jason Isbell.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah, a
That's
couple of
deadly.
years back. There's a cool thing on YouTube. Gibson done a really cool thing about it. If any of you would care to watch that and know the history of it, but some of that's very fascinating,
These boys,
especially in this day and age when they're so sought after.
they were so young as well, Luke, Leonard Skinner at this stage. Like they were mid-20s.
Yeah,
Fucking mad. 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 I believe the plane crash, which was maybe 2 years after this, or was it 1 year? Ronnie was 28, 20 something like that, 28, 29. Steve Gaines was something similar. Steve Gaines' sister died as well. Like they were all on the plane. Like imagine the trauma and stuff from that for the whole band. Like and they carried on. Like, but
yeah, it is. It's
um,
crazy that when you think of it, that's one thing I would have paid attention to when you listen to another rock star. Travis Barker speaks about it on a number of podcasts that he's been on since his plane crash. The hosts walking back through what it was like, and
mm,
I think there was two deaths. in that plane crash.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
his friend DJ AM, who happened to be on the same flight, then died subsequently a couple
Yeah.
of years later due
Yeah.
to other related stuff. But as you say, I'm sure the pressure and the trauma of all of that didn't help the cause.
So, Luke, I'm going to ask you a question about the difference between the live versions of these songs and say the studio versions that we might have heard of, the likes of say Sweet Home Alabama and Tuesday Is Gone and stuff like that. There's massive differences, isn't there? Like comparing the both, it's night and day to me, anyway.
Yeah, it's probably the improvisation on stage,
Yeah, feel.
the ad lib, the licks,
You know
not
one thing.
just sticking to what was on the record.
You know one thing that I really picked up on, and I'm still learning. But the groove that these boys had.
Yeah, it was in them.
Oh my god!
They all had outrageous feel, and his feel is something you can't teach.
No, it's just in you, and the drummer Artemis as well, and he and the bass player and just everything. They were very cool, groovy, almost blue or bluesy groove. Even a small bit of funk you could nearly see in some of them. But can you imagine these being played before they hit the big time? You picture yourself in the 70s down in, Tennessee somewhere in a bike or bar and these boys playing. And you like the type of music that it is, I can see why there were so many women at it because you can almost dance to this stuff.
Oh, for sure.
And you can sit at a bar and you can bang your head or you can
Rock and roll, you're rocking away and you
it's
want to
pure rock and
move.
roll.
And yep.
Pure
If you
southern
think of
rock
that,
and roll.
imagine you're after putting in a full week's work. You're after putting in the shift. Your heart's broke on a Saturday after picking through some sort of menial job. You've lost the 10 socket for the last time. The spanners have hit the wall and you're heading to town for beer. You
Yeah.
walk in, you call for Betsy behind the bar to throw you up a bottle of whatever or pull you a pint of whatever's going. And next thing, who starts to come on and make a racket in the corner? Only Skynyrd. Like,
Yeah.
imagine how lucky it would have been to be there, or you would
Yeah,
have been to be
just don't
there.
have that. I just don't have that anymore. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'd love to. I'd love to go back. I'd love to. But here's another one, Luke. Where does this one more from the road rank among the greatest live albums that you know? Would it be in your top 10?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Live albums? When you had said to me top 10, I'm like, top 10 live albums I'm really a fan of or that I like would listen to. I'm trying to think of like that Rock and Rio set. Um,
Live and Dangerous, like Tin Lizzy.
Live and Dangerous is probably up there as like number one.
Yeah.
It would even maybe take top spot over S&M for me.
Right.
Like
Okay.
Live and Dangerous is so good. I think one of the best iconic sayings. Phil Lynott, I'm
Yeah.
paraphrasing, but how many of you in here got a little
Yeah.
Irish in you?
Yeah.
How many of the girls would like a wee bit more Irish in them? Just the cheek, the
Yeah.
tongue in cheek, and just a wee bit of a roguery, a bit of playfulness was class.
But especially with this album as well, like the crowd interaction and the way that even at one stage in the album, the keyboard breaks and they keep it in, and he's like, "Oh, we got a problem over here. The keyboard broke.
I
Ah,
like when
something."
they do that. Yeah,
He goes like,
I
"Something
don't.
always breaks with us," and like that's real. It's raw and it's normal and it's natural and like when I stuck this on, I'm laying up listening to it. You can almost be in there
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For
because
sure.
it's
You
not
feel
stop.
like you're there and you're part of it.
Yeah, there's no stop and start with the record. It just flows. That whole record just flows. Like there's no stops. It's
it
brilliant.
it's definitely up there. Like if someone were to ask me, could you recommend a live album? And,
Well,
and another
I definitely.
crazy one. Do you know what's brilliant live album? It would probably be in my list. 9.0 by Slipknot.
Is that the one in London? No.
It's like I think taken from a number of different ones across the tour.
Yeah.
But very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely know if someone, this would be because it's new to me and because we were doing a bit of research on that. If someone was saying, "Oh, what I listen to," I'm like, "Listen to this."
We'll have
Listen.
to have a look at the other gem that you picked up along your travels, the live album from another
Yes.
British blues band of the 60s. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about that another day.
Give me three steps as well. Call me the breeze. Like, it's
What's your favorite track on the album?
oh Jesus, that's a tough question. Um, I like T for Texas. Now it's not a Leonard Skinner song. It's a cover. It's an old song. I think it's some Rogers guy. But the twist that they do and the way the guitars come in, it's just like one riff is finished and then just like wham, the slide just comes in and just fucking just brilliant,
Sends
unbelievable.
it.
I'd say right. I'll give my top three and maybe one that I'd skip over. Right, so I'd definitely have T for Texas. I think I'd have Call Me the Breeze. Saturday Night Special is good too, and you know what Saturday Night Special is about? It's actually about like anti-gun song, and you'd think it was the last thing that these boys would be talking about. So
Really?
a Saturday Night Special back in the day was a handgun.
Okay.
And if you listen to the lyrics, it's about all it does is it's cold and looking down the barrel and 6 feet under and
Does
don't go
no good.
does no good and all that. So it's an anti-war song, or an anti-gun song. So I think I'd go with Saturday Night Special, T for Texas, and what I say, Call Me the Breeze. Freeboard is brilliant. Like, but I knew that one and I knew Sweet Home Alabama. But these new ones to me, these new tracks that I didn't know until I picked this up, they are blowing my mind now. So they are my top three. What's your top three?
Oh, the opener.
Hmm.
The opener.
Working
Whiskey
for
Rock and
him.
Roller
Yeah, great tune.
and Needle in the Spoon.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't
Needle
it?
in the Spoon is unreal. That's one I really want to learn to play on guitar now. It's so good.
That's about the Earl heroin.
So good. Yeah, not that I want to get on that stuff, but
Yeah, but that's what it's about. It's a great song. It's a great song. Funny, I actually have some notes here on Gary Rosington. So Gibson Les Paul standard and an SG he played. Rosington primarily played a 59 Gibson Les Paul standard, known for its thick, warm tone and creamy sustain. On certain songs, he used the Gibson SG. His lead work, particularly on Tuesday's Gone and Simple Man, was full of emotion, heavily relying on the bends and sustain. And then Alan Collins, he had a Gibson Fireboard and the Explorer. Collins was most famous for playing a Gibson Fireboard, which had a bright, cutting tone with great clarity.
which
He
was
also,
so cool.
yeah, he also used the Gibson Explorer, which had more aggressive, raw sound. His playing is best showcased on freeboard, and I agree. Look, if any of you are interested, look up the Asbury Park, and you'll see him playing it on the Explorer, where his extended solo, especially live, became legendary for its soaring melodic phrasing. And then Steve Gaines, Fender Strat. Gaines was a newcomer at the time, and he brought a Fender Strat, which was sharper, more percussive sound compared to the humbucker-driven Gibsons. His playing was clean, precise, and full of blues influence, adding a new dynamic to the band's sound. His performance on T for Texas and Call Me the Breeze is particularly notable for its fast, fluid lead, and like some notes there on the overall sound in the album. The combination of the Gibson humbuckers and the Fender single coil Strat created a balanced mix of warm sustain, sharp attack, and dynamic range. Skinner's use of PV and Marshall amps helped drive their thick, crunchy southern tone. The live recording captures a raw, natural sound with extended solos and a more free flowing feel than the studio album. Like it's brilliant. I have
Nails
to,
it. It's great.
I have to really, really rate it highly. If you're listening here, if you're driving in the car, if you're going to work, get on Spotify, get this on, and you will not be disappointed.
Get it on. Get it on. And if you want to be in with the chance to win a copy of this album, do yourself a favor and have a look at subscribing to our Patreon. For a
Yes.
fee as small as €5 a month, you can be in with winning an album like this as
Yeah.
part of our monthly draw. And on that note, we would like to say massive thanks to our main sponsor, All Kings Competitions, Ireland's premier raffle.
Yes. They are this week now. There's a serious draw on. They're raffling off Porsche GTR worth 200,000. So you can buy a ticket. I think it's about €10. If you come out, you can get 200,000 cash or a brand new Porsche.
And just remember, folks, you can sleep in a race car, but you can't race a house. So,
Yes.
sometimes it's best to have the car.
Yeah, no, big shout out to All Kings. Check them out on all social media platforms. We're really grateful for All Kings for sponsoring this season. So big shout out to them. Again, the Patreon, and this should be available on YouTube as well. If you're on YouTube, give us a subscription there, hit the old notification bell,
Now, thumbs up.
and we'll be back with more. And if there's an album that you're interested in, shoot us a comment. If you're a Patreon sign up, you'll skip the list. You'll get your recommendation to the top of the list. So
let us know.
All right. Thanks
Thanks
again.
again.
Bye bye.